Bill Pine from Lloyd's TSB. Most organisations have incentive schemes which are a mixture of carrot and stick, and then spend lots of time trying to make the rules of the game and then watching people trying to find the loophole and break the rules of the game. What's your work done on that, and how would you shape an incentive scheme to be productive?
Yeah, that's a great question. In terms of carrot and stick, I think economists don't have that much to say. That you can't use a very big stick because slavery is outlawed, so people can leave if you use too much on the stick side. So you're kind of forced in business to use a lot of carrot. But what I think is financial incentives are far overrated in a business setting. And the problem with financial incentives is that almost immediately people acclimate to them, right? So let me give you a very trivial example. My wife ran the human resources at a dog food manufacturer in Boston. And we had a bunch of immigrant workers who worked there, Portuguese immigrants, or Brazilian immigrants as well. And these are very poor people who made very low wages. And so as a perk, she organized that all of them will get a turkey for Christmas. And the first year, they were just elated. They were so happy. It was so nice the employer had done something for them, giving them this nice turkey. And morale was very high. So the next year, they gave a turkey again. And this time, didn't really, nothing really happened. Within a year, these workers had decided that it was their God-given right that every year they should be given a turkey by the employer. The third year, they were furious. And they complained. They said, the turkeys this year were not as big as the turkeys last year. This is terrible what you've done to us, cheating us on our turkeys. And I think that's true of almost every sort of financial perk you can give, is that as soon as you give it once, people just expect it in the future. I think the real answer, and this is not easy, but the real answer is, this is going to sound weird or bad, is to cajole or to trick your employees into thinking that what they're doing is important. Okay, that's far more effective in the long run than giving them money, right? People who love what they do, who think what they're doing makes a difference, are much better employees. And the best example, I spent a lot of time at Google. And Google is more cult-like than any organization I've ever been in. People who work at Google, they love Google. They believe in Google. They think Google is incredibly important. I'll just give you the one. So my first introduction to Google, I had approached them because I thought that we could use Google's data to try to stave off the next global pandemic. Okay, and my idea was that the official, the official sort of government bureaucracies that are in charge of tracking disease are way behind. It takes them forever to get information. But in the rural parts of China, you could imagine a clinic typing into Google, some strange rash or something that looks like smallpox, and trying to gather that information to try and see whether or not a global pandemic was starting. And I talked to the people at Google about doing it, and I think they actually had some confidence it would work. But they said, we won't do the project. I said, why? They said, because the privacy of our users is preeminent. It's more important to us. I said, but we're not talking about any individual. I don't care about anybody's individual's name. I just want to see who's typing in that they have a really high fever and can't get out of bed. And the guy said to me, there are teenagers all over the world who the first thing when they wake up in the morning, they think, Google is going to keep my data safe. And that's more important to us than preventing the next global pandemic. Okay. So I think that statement's probably false on both counts. First, I'm not sure there are any teenagers in the world where the first thing they think when they wake up is that Google will keep the data safe, and that's the most important thing. Secondly, I'm not sure that it's better than staving off global pandemic. But the point is that the people who work at Google, they love Google. Google gives those folks 20% of their time, 1 day a week, to do whatever they want, just because they have confidence that these people who love their company are going to generate value by following ideas. And I think ultimately that, if there's one thing I would do as a manager, it would be to try and inculcate into the people who work for me why what they're doing is important, why it matters. And when stuff matters, then you don't care nearly as much about, exactly what your wage is or exactly how much you got paid relative to the next person. And that would be my advice on incentives.